Hey now, good morning, happy Tuesday, PSW staff, clients, friends joining us. Russian week. We finally made it to Russian week. Last week, a few weeks ago, we did German week. We looked at Mendelssohn, Wagner, and Mahler. And to recap, heavy emotions with the Germans, right? With the Germans. Mendelssohn, as we looked at, comes more from the school of Beethoven and Mozart, because he's earlier. So he's writing German music because he's German, he's Jewish, but it's really not till Wagner where it's like, oh, this is German music. And then Mahler is going to extend Wagner. Wagner with the opera, Mahler with the symphony, drenched in heavy emotion, right? So Russians, as we see this week, of course, every composer has emotions, every person has emotions. And of course, most artists are going to be somewhat emotional. Or at least, expressive. That's the point of art, to be expressive. But if we're heavy emotions with the Germans, we got to simplify this. What are the Russians doing? They're going to be relying on emotions, but it's a little bit more playful, humorous music. You don't hear humor with Mahler, maybe a little bit with Wagner, but not really. This week we'll be looking at Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev, Shostakovich. And with Prokofiev and Shostakovich, we're going to see a lot of playfulness and humor. Tchaikovsky, a little bit, but more beautiful melodies. So we're gonna dive back into Tchaikovsky, and this was one of our first early classes, and I was revisiting it. We kind of left, I just wanted to mention a few things. Not really a prodigy like Mozart, although he started writing music really young at age 4. So that is a prodigy, but it wasn't really until he was 21 where he decided to take serious composition lessons. And his importance, strong melodies. That's what he had. He and maybe the most famous Russian composer in the Romantic period. And so we've talked about that. So if he's born in 1840, he's born when Wagner's writing all his crazy operas, right? By 1850, by the middle of the 19th, Wagner is really solidified as the leading German composer, and then Mahler will be later that. So, but Tchaikovsky's, they're in a whole different country, and he's writing his. He's one of the first, to be recognized as internationally. That's because of touring. Because now, and Tchaikovsky comes to Carnegie Hall right before he dies. And so let's just kind of recap the older class and see what ideas we come up with. Tchaikovsky did start taking piano lessons at 5, but it wasn't until his early 20s when he had formal training in music and orchestration. His father didn't want him to go into that. He wanted him to go into law. His mother passed away when he was 14, and so that was obviously very painful for him. So, but he grew up listening to music, but he didn't really become a composer or learning composition until his 20s. And so part of what makes Tchaikovsky so wonderful to me and to many people is, sure, it sounds pleasant, but it's got such strong emotion. And it's such a, there's technical skill and pretty orchestration for sure, but there's so many powerful melodies going on. And the melodies are melancholy, they're introspective, they're very personal sometimes. Let's play the first waltz from Sleeping Beauty, which you'll recognize. Aren't those flutes so nice right there? I love that. So I thought if it's okay with you, I'd put some paintings in there, some Impressionism paintings. Monet, Manet, Pissarro, Renoir. So, it's cool to see the composer's face, but it's also cool to see what was happening in the Romantic era. And Tchaikovsky and Monet were actually born in 1840. They were both born in the same year. I didn't know that, but I just found out. So beautiful version from Sleeping Beauty. Tchaikovsky was known for ballets. He wrote piano concertos and symphonies and everything other composers write, but I think his ballets probably are, Swan Lake, Sleeping Beauty, and The Nutcracker. Those are probably his most popular. This piece is also important because I believe it changed my dad's life. I think, and I should ask him, and he's probably going to watch this and correct me. I think he was like 9 or 10 or 11 and he heard this piece and something struck him where it was there was more music that was going to be beautiful in life, that there was music outside of the music he was just listening to. There was more to be uncovered, and I think that this really was an important piece in his life. I should ask him. One of Tchaikovsky's quotes was, truly there would be reason to go mad were it not for music. And don't you think we would go mad? You guys, I would go crazy if there wasn't music in the world. Music calms us, soothes us, makes things that don't make sense feel a little better for us, reassures us, all these things. So, it's kind of too bad because I think he did kind of go mad a little bit, but he wrote some beautiful music. I'm going to share one of my favorite personal pieces. It's never played, and it took me 20 years to find the version of it that my parents played for me. And it's Tchaikovsky wrote 12 piano pieces, one for each month, and this is December. And Morton Gould, who was a conductor, made an arrangement for a string ensemble and piano. So it wasn't Tchaikovsky's arrangement. It was his arrangement of a Tchaikovsky piano piece. And we're going to listen to December. And let's see if you enjoy this. absolutely exquisite. It makes me so happy. But that's just me. And so it's a waltz. It's 3/4, right? We heard that, and just the sensitivity in that piece. It's just in the lush melodies. I mean, he just. I want to spend all day on Tchaikovsky. There's so many other pieces that I know that you'll just do. Oh yes, I know that piece, and we'll explore more of his music. But one of the greatest composers in the Romantic era, and of composers who ever lived. Stravinsky's favorite composer, one of my favorite composers. Just gorgeous, gorgeous music. I didn't go into the Nutcracker, but I hope you enjoyed all that. And I'd love to do a class just on the Nutcracker. That's something we might do. But it really flopped. It was not successful. And I was reading that it really wasn't until 1944 in San Francisco that it kind of became a tradition. And even Tchaikovsky, he didn't really like it that much when he saw the premiere. So it kind of just fell flat. So it's really weird to think if you brought him back today, he would be dumbfounded that people are doing this every year. That it's one of the most famous Christmas shows of all time. And even if he just did the Nutcracker, that would have been amazing. But Tchaikovsky did so many other beautiful works. I mean, we listened to Sleeping Beauty in there, and I played some excerpts of certain songs from the seasons and just things that have meant a lot to me. And Tchaikovsky, I mean, Stravinsky's favorite composer, probably my favorite composer. And really hard life. I mean, dealt with a lot of things. Life was way harder back then. Life's hard now, but I mean, boy, it was way harder back then. So, be grateful. So, we didn't hear and see so much playfulness and humor, but we will tomorrow. We're going to be laughing a little bit more later in this week, because Tchaikovsky is serious, but emotional, right? And so we'll see in our Russian week. We'll be exploring together. So hope you enjoy that. Great rest of the day. Tomorrow we're gonna look at Prokofiev. Okay, bye.